Hey, my chosen for a reason family. So I am back again. Um, for anybody just tuning in for the first time and you're wondering why do I call y'all chosen for a reason? Because you may not know why you're here, but God does. You are not here by accident. He already had your life predestined. He already knew what it is that you was going to do in this world. Now, the reason that I'm not sure of. The reason you can only get the reason when you sit with him, when you get into a relationship with him. Once you start letting him in your life, then that's when he will reveal the whole reason as to why you're here. So now that I got that out the way, I want to talk about something that is necessary. So I know that I'm supposed to speak about it because this is something that I wrote about, I want to say like last year, and for whatever reason never released it. Don't know why, have no idea. So today when I was watching online church, it popped back out at me. So it's like, okay, Lord, this is what you will have me do, huh? All right, so here we go. So why is it that we always want to skip them steps? What I mean by that, when we first start walking as babies, do we go from do we go from crawling to just running? No. We'll get up. We might put our hand on the table. We're, you know, we're trying to get our footing together before we even attempt to get up. We might try to get up a few times and then sit back down because we feel like we're not fully ready. And then it comes to that day where it's like, okay, I'm gonna go for it. I'm gonna really go for it. And so then we get up, we get our balance just right, because sometimes when you get up you're all shaky. You get your balance just right, and then you take that first step, and then that first step turns into another step, and then that step turns into another step. Well, that's exactly how it is with God. We be so quick to want to skip them steps, but them steps is what we need in order to rise to our full potential, in order for us to be exactly where it is that God wants us to be. So I have a coach. Her name is Coach Latoya. Matter of fact, I have a couple of coaches, Coach Latoya and Coach Tyson. I remember Coach Toya, she had this beast mode course where, just sitting there basically figuring out what it is that God has purposed you to do. So I remember going through it, and I got to go back and finish it. Matter of fact, I'm going to go back and start it from the very beginning because my whys have changed. But let me go back to what I was talking about, though. So I remember sitting, and it was like, okay, let me sit here by myself. Let me sit here and chill with God. Let me not have no distraction. Let me see exactly what it is that's going on. There's a reason as to why I'm here, because all of a sudden, it was just like a few years ago, I got to the point where it was like, what am I really here for? I know I'm not just here just to just struggle through life. Like, there's got to be something more for me than what it is that I'm going through. Like, what is it? So it's funny how you don't even think about that, but it's like there are things that will happen to you that will lead up to that point of you questioning, like, why? What's going on? What am I here for? Anyway, so I sat, I figured it out. It was like the very thing that I used to talk about in my 20s, I didn't know that was going to be my purpose like 20 something years later. So, of course, in my mind, it's like, okay, I know exactly what it is I'm going to do. I'm tired of being broke. So, I'm about to just do it just like that. and the money's gonna come. Like, I'm about to be an entrepreneur. I'm about to have my own business. I'm about to have the money. I'm just about to, man. When I say life is just gonna change just like that, it's gonna change just like that. Was I wrong? I didn't understand it. As God started taking me through things, then it became more clear to me. But it was a process. A process I didn't want to go through. A process that I just wanted to, like I said, go from crawling to running. That's just like when you are, let's say you sign up for a marathon. As soon as you sign up, are you going to just start running right away? No, you got to train. You got to start eating right. You got to start having different habits. It's just, there's a lot that goes into it before you even get to that point where you're running the marathon so that you can get to the final destination. Right? Same thing. So, I'm like, Lord, what is going on? You told me what it is I'm supposed to be doing, so why am I not there? What's going on? And you know what? Holy Spirit spoke to me like, there's some things that we got to deal with. There are some things that cannot go with you. There are some things that, as you see, you keep doing the same thing over and over again. Has it worked yet? No, it hasn't. So, if I want to sustain what God has for me, then there's some things that I just need to take care of. Some things that I need to endure. Basically, what I'm trying to say is enjoy the process. Stop trying to skip the process. Stop trying to run past the process. Stop trying to leap over the process, because no matter what, even if you call yourself trying to skip the process and going straight to the end, guess what? God gonna bring you back. And what you thought you was gonna skip, no, he gonna bring you right back, and you're gonna have to go through that process. So instead of you wasting unnecessary time, you might as well just do it. Just do it just like how he's trying to tell you right now. So, okay, so things is happening. I'm wondering why they're happening. Now, there is a such thing as Satan doing things to you. Yes. Because, of course, he knows exactly where it is that God is taking you, and he's trying to distract you. He's trying to keep you from reaching that level. Then there are things that God is going to take you through. You know, we are so quick to, God, I don't want to go through this. Like, please just take me up out of it. But we're thinking that God is being mean, but that's just the love of a parent. If you always bailing your child out all the time, they will never learn what it is that they need to learn. Sometimes you have to let your children fall. You have to allow them to figure out how they're going to get back up themselves. You know, like, of course, as soon as you see your child struggling, it's like our instinct is, oh, I got to help them. I got to help them. I got to help them. But if you're constantly helping them, they will never figure out how to do it for themselves. So it's like, actually, when we are always trying to soften the blow for our children, we're actually destroying them in the process. Too much coddling ain't never helped anybody. So it's like, sometimes God is going to allow us to go through the fire, because if we do not go through the fire, then we will not understand. We will not learn the lessons. And I feel like once he takes us through that fire, then we will appreciate it a lot more. That's just like when you get a car. If somebody was to give you a car versus you working for that car, you appreciate it way more when you had to work for it versus it was just given to you. because there's no sense of responsibility, there's no sense of sacrifice, there's no sense of the things that you have to do in order to get to where it is that you need to be in order to get that vehicle, if y'all know what I mean. So anyway, though, I know that I could shorten it. Yeah, like my coach says, I'm long-winded. I'm going all around the story instead of just going straight. So okay, let me bring it back. So I realized that there was things inside of me that God needed to deal with. Okay. Number one, I noticed how after I called on God that people just started dropping out of my life. And it was for a reason. It's not that there was bad people, but God knew that if I continued to hang around certain people that I would never reach the destination that he wanted me to reach because I was going to be too distracted with them. And unfortunately, some people just cannot go where God is taking us. It's like we want to take everybody with us, but God gave you the vision. He didn't give everybody. If it was meant for everybody, if it was meant for your friends, then he would have gave y'all all the same vision, but he gave it to you. But it's like that's just human nature. You want to take along the people that you love, but sometimes you can't. It's like, you ever heard of like you sit up here, you trying to throw that raft out there to a person who's drowning, okay? Or let's say you jump out the boat and you're trying to save them, but then in the process, they pull you down. And so you wind up drowning and you trying to save them. So that's what it is, where sometimes he knows exactly who is going to be the one who's going to support us, who's going to be the one to help us like move further, closer to where it is that he's taking us. And he knows the ones that's going to be dream killers, who's gonna always have something negative to say. They're always gonna be a distraction. Basically they're gonna be a hindrance to where it is that he's taking you. So it's like there is a process that you have to go through. Who wants to be isolated? Nobody. But sometimes you need to be isolated because let's think about it. If you're in a room where there is a bunch of people talking, there's music, there's talking, there's laughing, there's all these different things. What if somebody is calling your name? You're not going to be able to hear over all that. So God has to get rid of all of the distractions so that you could be focused, so that you could be in tune, so that you can hear when he is speaking to you. So when people start dropping out of your life, don't automatically assume, like start thinking, what's wrong? Did I do something wrong? Like start thinking the worst, start thinking negative. Sometimes God may drop them off for, sometimes you might never see them again, or God's just like, you know what, not right now. Not right now, like maybe later on, but right now, I just need you by yourself so that I can chill with you. So you can get to know each other. So, you could be in tune with each other so that when I'm speaking to you, then you can clearly and accurately hear what it is that I'm telling you to do. Then God's going to prepare you. Because, come on now, truth be told, as soon as somebody tells you something, like let's just say that somebody's telling you that you may be up for a promotion, you just wonder right then and there, oh, I got this. They're like, hold on, wait a minute, we got to train you for this position. I know you may know some things, but there's other things that you don't know. So in order for you to keep this job, keep this position, we have to train you. There is a process that you have to go through. Do y'all see where I'm going with this? Anyway, though, God has to prepare you. So I know for me, toxic, dysfunctional. I started recognizing and realizing that it was like different names, different faces, but the same type of outcome. So, okay, it can't always be the other person who's the common denominator here. Maybe there's something that I'm bringing as well. Maybe there's something that I need to be working on, something that I need to be doing differently. Maybe I need to start showing up differently. Because at the end of the day, you're only responsible for yourself. You can't change nobody else but yourself. That is God's job. Let God change a person. Even with you, you can't do it on your own. You got to go to God for Him to help. For Him to help. Why do I get tongue tied? But you guys get what I'm saying. You need God in order for Him to help you. So how you think you're going to be able to change somebody else and help somebody else if you can't even help yourself? That's not how it works. So anyway, He has to prepare you. I know times where I'm like, Lord, patience. And I don't know. I guess I just automatically thought that I was going to snap my finger and all of a sudden things were just going to, I was just going to be in this patient environment. No. God was throwing me in situations where I had no choice to be patient. I remember saying, like, Lord, I keep asking you for patience, like, what's going on? And then all of a sudden it clicked. Holy Spirit was like, how are you going to get patience unless I put you in situations for you to be patient? Okay. So He's preparing you. You wondering maybe why you're going through the things that you're going through at your job. He's preparing you how to deal with difficult situations. He's preparing you on how to come up with a plan, how to come up with, how to come up with a solution. After all, if you want your own business, sometimes there's going to be problems. And you're going to have to come up with a solution. You're going to have to know how to work well under pressure. You're going to have to, you're going to have to maneuver. You're going to have to figure out, okay, this something is going wrong. Now, instead of me getting upset and me getting impatient, I need to take the time to figure out how to fix this problem. So He has to prepare you. Then, after preparation, then it's validation. So, where the devil tempts, God tests. And before elevation, He's always going to test you because He needs to see if what He has been taken away from you that is not of Him and what He has been placing in you that is of Him. If when situations come about, how are you going to deal with that situation? What about if you was always a person who had road rage and you was always getting upset and irritated when somebody cut you off? Now He wants to see, how are you going to respond when somebody cuts you off now? When somebody gives you that middle finger? When somebody calls you about your name? Are you going to do what you used to do? Going bad? Chasing them? Because I know at one point in time that was me. Oh, you want to cut me off? I'm following you. I'm doing the most. Never taking into consideration, what if they had a gun and what if they could have done something to me? I hope I don't get striked for that, for saying that word up on YouTube. But you guys get the gist of what it is that I'm saying. So it's like, we all know how life be life and nothing's ever going to be perfect. There's going to be things that come up and you need to be able to know how to handle those situations. What if you get into it with somebody and that person that you got into it with was the opportunity, the blessing that God sent you to get you to the next level, but because you did not know how to handle your anger, you went off. And now that opportunity out the window. Now you over here like, oh, God, I cannot believe that I did that. So where's the point in time where I was trying to rush past the process? I didn't want it. Lord, take me out of it, please. Now I'm like, Lord, even though I don't like where I'm at in life, I don't want God to take me up out of this until I am ready. I have And I can admit that it has been me that has messed up. Me. There's been self-sabotage. Like, I'm staying with my daughter. For anybody who knows, I'm not in my own place anymore. Now, granted, I couldn't do anything about me not getting the hours. But had I been stewarding my money well, then I could have had money put up where, okay, maybe I would have still had to move from that apartment, but I would have been able to move into something a little bit smaller. Instead of a 2-bedroom, I could have moved into a studio, something that was a little bit cheaper had I stewarded my money well. When that situation came up where I was not working, was not getting the hours, I wouldn't have had to panic and had to go stay with somebody. So it's like things like that where God is going to prepare you. It's like He doesn't want you to constantly keep going through the same thing over and over and over again. And that is exactly why when we go through things, there's a lesson always to be learned from it. But we have to focus on that. Like, I know that at the time that it's happening, you're going to say, Lord, why is this happening to me? You're not going to automatically be like, okay, what's the lesson I'm supposed to be getting from this? That's human. At the time that it's happening, you're going to have that thought process. Why is this happening? But once you take the time to like sit back and reflect, okay, obviously there's something I'm supposed to be learning from this. This is not the first time this happened. This is not the second time. This is not the third time. So what is it that the Lord is trying to get me to see in this? He wants you to deal with certain things so that when He takes you to where you're going to, that you don't have to worry about that no more. You don't have to keep every few years, every few months, keep revisiting the same thing, because it's going to keep resurfacing because you never took care of it, because you never handled it. So it's like, while it is that you're trying to rush through the process and you like, Lord, why can't you just take me to why can't you just take me to the promise? You didn't already tell me this is what I'm doing, so why can't you just take me to it? His ways are higher than our ways, and His thoughts are higher than our thoughts. So He knows us. Like, how people be like, God knows my heart. Exactly. He knows your heart. And that's exactly why He's taking you through this process, because there's some things that He needs to get up out of your heart. And there's some things that He needs to put up in it. You think He's doing this to be mean? He's doing this out of love, because He wants you to not only get there, but He wants you to be able to maintain and sustain everything that it is that He's giving you. So instead of you keep trying to rush through the process, enjoy it. Be in that moment. Stop looking behind you. Stop looking ahead of you. But be present right here, right now, in this moment. Take everything in. Learn everything that you're supposed to be learning. Whereas before, that's what I'm talking about. You see, my thought process has changed. Whereas before, I was trying to rush through the valley. Now it's like, Lord, now, I don't want to stay here forever, but I'm enjoying being here because of the things that He is building in me. He's building my character, my endurance, whereas before, it's like when things would happen, I would just fall apart. Now I'd be falling apart for days. Now it's like if something happens, I might fall apart for like a millisecond, but I'm coming right back like, I'm not letting this keep me down. I didn't realize how strong I was, and my strength is in leaning on Him. Not in myself, but leaning on Him. Trusting in Him. My favorite scripture is Proverbs 3, 5, and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding, but in all your ways acknowledge Him, and He will direct your paths. It's because I'm leaning on Him. It's because I'm coming to Him. It's because I'm taking my hands up off of it. I'm surrendering to Him, and I'm allowing Him to take me through the process, take me through the things that He needs to take me through. I don't want anything sooner than what I'm supposed to have. Even if sometimes my flesh might be like, I'm over this, I'm done, I'm ready. God, like, no, you're not. Be happy in the moment. You need the process to get you to where it is that He's trying to take you, so that you can keep it, not just for a little bit, but you can keep it and maintain it for the rest of your life. So I just wanted to get on here and tell y'all that I'm enjoying my process now. I hated it before, but I'm enjoying it now. I'm learning everything that I need to learn. I'm taking in everything that I need to take in. I'm applying it to my life. I'm not just taking it in, but I'm also applying it to my life. That is very important too. Where it's like, yeah, you know how they used to say knowledge is power. Knowledge is power. Knowledge is. But it's only power when you apply that knowledge. You can know something all day long, but if you never apply it to your life, you're going to be still sitting in the same spot. So it's like, not only am I learning in the process, but I'm also applying it so that when I get to where I need to be, I'll be able to handle it. I'll be able to maintain it. I'll be able to sustain it. So, I love y'all, and I will be back.